Now, the Duval Rundown, served by Jets Pizza. It's not pizza, it's Jets. With Hayes Carlyon and Ryan O'Halloran.
Welcome to another edition of Duval Rundown. Training camp has begun, and we are very, very happy to tell you all about it. Hayes Carlyon here with Ryan O'Halloran, columnist of the Florida Times-Union. We certainly appreciate our friends at Jets Pizza, and be sure to like and subscribe. Ryan, good afternoon. It is here. Lots to get to today, but just overall, great being back out there and seeing the team go through the first day of training camp.
It was good to join you, Hayes, after a couple weeks off. I got a fever. The only thing's going to solve it is football. So
that's right.
I mean, it was a first day back, which was kind of a glorified OTA. I thought it was a decent crowd. The cloud cover helped the weather, but you mentioned before we went on the air, it was an interesting tempo. I thought the passing game looked terrible. CJ Williams had a couple of nice catches, but tomorrow you'll probably add more plays, then more after that, and they'll go in spiders on Sunday and pads on Monday. So this is really just a ramp up day, but you thought it was pretty physical at the start.
Yeah, I was surprised. To me, it had a little bit more intensity, a little bit more physicality early on. Now they backed off of that, but at the time when I was watching it, because we had you were seeing like linemen going to the ground and things like that, and obviously like the team has to submit video of every practice to the NFLPAs. But I'm literally sitting there kind of half joking, saying, "Well, they better be careful; they might lose some draft picks." It didn't continue that way, but I thought it was, again, Liam Cohen's messaging of, look, we've prioritized physical run game, getting better in that area, and it looked like early on they showed it. But yeah, I would agree with you. Like overall, Liam said it after practice. I think he described it as it was a little sloppy. It was a lot sloppy. Jacoby Myers, who's very sure-handed, drops a pass, very catchable. With a nice opportunity to get some yak yardage. Obviously, he's going to bring that in 99.9% of the time, so probably better that he dropped this one on day one of camp. And Jacoby wasn't alone in that. Trevor even said after practice he was inaccurate, didn't have his best day. But I still think for day one, what I wanted to see in terms of crispness operationally, It looks, I think, again, it's one day, but it carried over from OTAs where this radiates a group that's played a lot of football together.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because that was the direction I was going. The operation was smooth, and you did not, they had the right people on the field, no pre-snap penalties. And so I think that was probably what Liam Cohen was pleased with. And one thing that Liam mentioned was, yes, the Lords threw with the position players like once or twice at a high school, but it's still been about 7 weeks since he threw to them. So it's not like getting on a bike. So I think that was sort of the caveat saying, hey, and Cohen was like, hey, as much as I want it to be one-sided and offense, it was good seeing guys on both sides of the ball sort of fight to a stalemate. But I thought we had drops by LaQuint Allen and then also Abdullah as well, in addition to Jacoby Myers. I thought Parker Washington caught a quick slant, dusted Jabbar Muhammad in 7-on-7, so that was obviously a good play. But I think the Jack Kaiser thing is something to monitor. He went down on the fourth play of teamwork. He's their backup middle linebacker, and he took him a little bit of effort to get off the field, see what we learn later. But now you get Parker Hughes as a rookie 7th-round pick. He's one snap away from playing. Granted, he's playing behind an extremely durable player in Foyo Luakan, but that is a little bit of a concern. And Rodriguez and Braswell, they are doing that via precaution, and no teamwork for either of those two guys. But you talked to, I just want to ask you about Brian Thomas. He had a quiet day. The only pass that I saw intended for him was intercepted by Eric Murray. What were some of your thoughts on Thomas?
Yeah, I enjoyed the opportunity to catch up with Brian. I would say this. I wanted to see acknowledgement that he struggled last year, because I think that's important for anybody in life. Like, we're all going to have, particularly in the world of professional sports at the highest level, you're going to go through slumps. I mean, that's just part of it. And how does he respond? And I think it's important to acknowledge when those setbacks occur, to really grow from them. And, from talking to Brian today, it seems like there is an acknowledgement of, there were things last year that I didn't do well and that I've really focused on getting better at. So I found it refreshing. I enjoyed talking with Brian. I have a greater sense of confidence now that what he did in the offseason is going to translate over to the regular season, because I would have, if he had been like, well, we won 13 games, I'm not really worrying about what happened last year, even with me. Again, not to say that that's the wrong, even everybody has a different approach, but I like the fact that there was an acknowledgement of, I didn't have as strong a year as I'd probably hoped. And, but again, he should be very confident. There's a lot of receivers in Canton, Ohio that really didn't figure out the league until their third year. And it's not just a couple of guys. That's a little antiquated, because the college game has become, particularly for receivers, I think it's become a little easier for them to step in and immediately be great in the NFL. But there still is, historically, it can take some time, even for great players. He obviously had an incredible rookie year. And if you combined his rookie and second season, he's still, I think most people would have taken those numbers. It's just the fact that the rookie season was so extraordinary, and then the second season was such a drop-off from that I think it's fairly left people wondering what to expect from him. But I have an optimism that Brian Thomas Jr. is figured it out. I also think it helps that he's on a good team with a coach that everybody believes is an offensive genius. And I don't just mean us. I mean, The Athletic had a writer today rank his top 5 play callers in the NFL, Ted Gwynn, and he has Liam Cohen 5th, ahead of Andy Reid. So, obviously, I think that helps too when you're a player that, I've got a quarterback who is an MVP finalist who's figuring it out as well. I've got a head coach that I know is going to put me in good position, and I'm on a team that's having a lot of success. But yeah, I was encouraged by what I heard from Brian. What are your expectations for Brian Thomas Jr. as we get into training camp?
Yeah, a couple things on Thomas. You mentioned the college to the NFL transition. And me and Vic Fangio talked about this years ago in Denver. And Vic was like, they face almost exclusively zone coverage in college. So you come to the NFL, not only is your opponent faster, probably bigger, probably, obviously a higher talent, they're not right in your face. So you have to adjust that. You have to play physical. You just can't run your route, stop, catch the ball. So there's a transition there for a lot of those receivers. And I like what Brian Thomas said to you is basically what he's saying is, this team won 13 games with me doing nothing. Imagine if I do something, because that's their best route to get back to double-digit wins. And what he does well matches up to what the Jaguars need to do better. And that's working the perimeter down the field. And Liam Cohen pointed that out during our conversation on Monday with the Times Union. Trevor Lawrence pointed it out today after practice. Say, hey, we have to be more explosive, because that'll take the safety out of the middle of the field, which is where Trevor likes to work, and maybe bring a safety down the field out of the box so they can try and run it better. They want to be able to play action and take shots down the field to Brian Thomas. That will open up a lot of other things for this offense. So I'm putting pressure on Brian. He's a first-round draft pick. He had a great rookie year. He had a down second year. Answer the bell, kid. And, even if his numbers may not reflect it this year, I think he's going to make a lot of big plays.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do want to talk about your conversation with Liam Cohen. Ryan wrote a great column, really encompassed a lot of things involving the Jaguars. So want to get to that on our second half of Duval Rundown, and I'll also tell you what Travis Hunter did today, because I thought it was a good day for Travis Hunter in terms of what we saw him able to do. But Trent Osborne helping us out on the digital side of things. We certainly appreciate Trent's contributions, and we appreciate Jets Pizza. Let's hear from them right now.
The Duval Rundown is served by Jets Pizza. Make your football weekends better with Jets' famous Detroit-style deep dish pizza. Order from Jets' 3 Jacksonville area locations today. Jets Pizza. It's not pizza, it's Jets.
So, Ryan, I thought with Travis Hunter today, let's start there, and then I want to get to Liam Cohen, your conversation with him one-on-one that occurred Monday that you already have written a great column about. Again, people can check that out at jacksonville.com and follow Ryan at Ryan O'Halloran. But Travis Hunter today, I thought looked good. I mean, you know, there was no like highlight play necessarily, but I thought in terms of speed, seeing him go through cornerback work, the limited amount of offense that he had, obviously had an opportunity to make a play on a ball. Jabbar Muhammad knocked it away from him at the last minute there. But he showed a lot of athleticism in terms of the vertical, things like that, reacting to the ball. I thought, considering he hasn't played football in a long time, Travis Hunter certainly looked the part of an elite athlete today.
Yeah, and the toughest part is keeping track of where he is. You know, because he's got a white jersey, he's got a green jersey, then he's off the field, then he's on the field. So, yeah, the view wasn't great. But today was a victory for Travis Hunter in the fact that he participated. First practice since October 30th of 2025. And one thing that Liam Cohen said in his conversations with Hunter, and Cohen said about 10 pounds heavier, is that Hunter told him that he feels like he's lighter on his feet. I don't know what the hell physics they're referring to there, but I'll take their word for it. And so I don't think he's going to increase his usage each day. I think they're sort of treating this in blocks, like the first 3 practices, then then the next 4. What I was a little surprised with today is they didn't have him focus on one side. They sort of threw him in the pool and see how he can manage it. And, it was a positive day for Hunter.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about your conversation with Liam Cohen. You had a lot of time with him one-on-one the other day. Just overall, what did you take out of meeting with Liam? And then let's break into some of the things that you've been able to write about this week.
Yeah, very fortunate to have that kind of access. And, fans watching who are Liam Cohen fans, which how can you not be, I wish you could be a fly on the wall because it is a carnival. And, to give you an example, it's, he snaps his fingers, he claps his hands. Then he was talking about one thing and he got off the couch and started doing dropbacks. And I'm like, hold my recorder up. Hope this picks this up. But anyways, a couple of the topics I covered, and I saved a lot for later. One is Cole Van Lanen. You're not going to see him in the preseason. That's what I got out of that. And Liam was like, hey, I don't know if I'll be able to answer that question until cut down day. Well, that's the day they got to make a decision. Because if he's on PUP, then he's out the first 4 games. If he's on the 53, they can, maybe take another week or 2. The thing with then Trevor Lawrence, it was he feels like he just play freer. I'm not going to overload you with stuff into your headset like I was last year. Just because a play calls to go to this player doesn't mean it has to. If you see something better, take it. And then Travis Hunter, we talked about him a little bit and showed the challenge of threading that needle. And, he said that, basically, Will linebacker, there's not a lot of starting jobs open here, but he says, who's going to rise up when the pads go on? Is it going to be Branson Combs? Is it going to be Ventrell Miller? And so those are a couple things and a lot more coming up over the next month when he talked about quarterback play, the pass rush, the secondary, which he's really excited about, which we can agree with him because there has been one notable subtraction, hasn't there, Hayes?
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly better than they were last year.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Best of luck, though, to Mr. Wingard in Arizona.
So plug the story for tomorrow. It's already up online. 2 stories, a camp report. And also wrote about Trevor Lawrence saying, hey, age 26, play caller, talent around him. This is the wheelhouse of this man's prime in pro football and starting right now. And I said there is no excuses for him. And I think he would agree with that. And then those are a couple of things coming up in the Times Union that are already online.
That's awesome. And you mentioned Combs, and I wrote this down because I thought it was interesting when Liam said it today. He was asked about Branson Combs, and he made a comment that he really excels in zone, and he has a background as a receiver, as a safety, so he's very athletic for a linebacker. And Liam kind of compared him to Devin Lloyd in terms of his fit and how this scheme, is able to maybe unlock his best skill set. But I thought it was really interesting because the way Liam described Branson is that he innately does that in zone coverage. I thought that was a very interesting way to describe a player, because again, we know that these are guys that they've proven as a front office, they can find hidden gems, and that's what they're looking for. Innate players, instinctual players that maybe don't have the best traits, but really understand how to play the game of football. I thought that was a really intriguing way that Liam Cohen described Branson Combs when you're trying to figure out who is going to replace Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, and I asked Liam that question about Combs. I'm going to talk to Branson tomorrow after practice, and as he was saying that, my first knee-jerk reaction was, this is going to be a platoon at linebacker. I could see Ventrell Miller, who's a freaking run through a wall, stop the run, physical player. I could see him being on the field for first and second down, and then Branson Combs being on the field for the nickel, or maybe even a dime if they go 3-2-6, that kind of thing. That adds up to 11. So yeah, I thought it was good stuff because Devin Lloyd, he didn't look athletic, even though he was making athletic plays. He had 5 interceptions. He made some great plays. But they feel like with either of these two guys, they feel like they're in good stead at the weak side linebacker spot.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Again, Ryan O'Halloran, read his work at Jacksonville.com. Ryan, it's hard to believe, but when we do our next Duval Rundown, we'll be like a week into this thing. Next Wednesday is actually an off day for the Jaguars. So they work today. They're taking Saturday off. So we'll be well into full padded practices. It's going to be a lot of fun as we get cooking here.
Yeah, I mean, business picks up Monday morning. And when the full pads go on, guys are still going to protect each other, but there is definitely more juice when the pads go on. And even though you're not tackling, but that's when you can get the one-on-one drills, which are always cool to watch. Corners, receivers, linebackers, running backs, O linemen, D linemen. That's when these guys, these coaches, and these scouts can really start evaluating the bottom half of this roster.
Yeah, without a doubt. Ryan, great stuff. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you to our friends at Jets Pizza. Be sure to go check them out. For Trent Osborne, for Ryan O'Halloran, I'm Hayes Carlyon. Thank you for watching Duval Rundown. Like and subscribe. We'll be back next Wednesday as we are then going to be able to review a full week of Jaguars training camp. Thanks for watching.